your race.
I'll let you know when you're live.
They're coming to turn 4 now. Oh, look at this. Look, you can see real battling going on here. Oh, well, there will be investigation. Deserving winner there.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen across the world. Welcome to the SynergyPWR People's World Racing for round number 6 here at Monaco, remaining mostly unchanged since its inaugural race in 1929. The Circuit de Monaco is one of the most glamorous tracks on the calendar, so much so becoming a motorsport's triple crown. There's 19 corners and 1 DRS zone, and we're expecting most of the action to appear at turn 1 on lap 1. However, of course, this is definitely a race to be considering a safety car, which I'm sure will definitely mix up the pact. And it's a glamorous race, and it requires glamorous commentators, of course. It's Eddie and Adrian in the box. Good evening.
Good evening, James, and once again, thank you for that fantastic introduction. Adrian, how are you this evening?
So I'm just getting my feather boa out of the way of my mic here, sorry.
Yeah, I know, those feathers do get in your way, so you have to go tut, 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 like that, you see? That gets rid of them.
Yeah, no,
So,
yeah, great to be here. Shame it's, well, say shame it's raining. Rain often makes for an interesting race.
well, I'm actually quite glad we got rain. It's not heavy rain, and we are obviously looking at rain for the start of the race, but I believe that the forecast is that it is likely to dry up towards the end of the race.
Yeah, apparently so.
Well, that is certainly going to make it very interesting indeed. We saw some fantastic qualifying, certainly in Q3. Very, very close, 2/10 between our pole sitter and second place Tom. Moulin obviously taking pole. It's going to be critical into that first corner. They're going to be on intermediates. This is... it's certainly going to make it very interesting, I think, for the first 3 rows.
Yeah, definitely, and perhaps for the first 3 laps as well, because as I say, visibility is going to be almost non-existent. You can barely even see your hands on the steering wheel, let alone the car in front of you. So yeah, we just need to be careful for the opening laps.
Well, we could see safety car coming out very, very soon in this race, and as James pointed towards, safety car is certainly not uncommon at all here at Monaco, and that does tend to shake things up a bit because it then obviously brings everyone closer together, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, and once you are sort of bunched up, yeah, it's that much easier to overtake. Not that it's easy to overtake at all on this track. It's as I said earlier on, it's almost impossible for me anyway.
Well, indeed, and that brings us on to the second bit I was going to go to. I mean, certainly the conditions will help because it's more likely that people are going to make those small errors and leave that door, I wouldn't say open, let's say ajar, and any driver that's going to be on track looking at that, they're going to want to take advantage of it. I mean, we could see overtakes, say, into the Grand Hotel hairpin through the Mirabeau section, and I think that we're very likely actually to see that with this wet weather.
Yeah.
We have a few technical difficulties with the stream commentators. Hopefully they'll be back with us shortly, so I'll be here to commentate round the formation lap. Of course, it's Moulin on pole position after a cracking lap time set in stone there for Tom 123 for the win to try and beat. Couldn't quite get there for P2 with Orbit Nations in P3. NW Knoll, cracking lap time for P4. The two Mercedes doing a great job to get back into the action. Hypernova follows in P5 with the rest of the field obviously looking to try and get themselves on the grid, including ZG Relentless, who's looking to try and get himself out of his little bit of a cursed nature here at one of the most glamorous tracks here on the calendar. Hopefully Woodscope will be back with us shortly. As you may have just heard, Adrian the 8th reconnecting into the session. Good evening, Adrian, hope you're well.
Yeah, evening, James.
Yeah, a bit of a technical hitch there, but we're back up and running. We'll try and get Woods back in here to commentate on the start. Hopefully he will be with us shortly. Of course, Johan, Lucas and Silver Surfer making the back of the grid here. Lucas looking to get a cracking start and a cracking position considering his start to the season went absolutely amazingly, so hopefully he will be back with us very shortly. And of course all the drivers now
back with us.
Yeah, we had a little bit of a comm issue on the party, but we have changed over now.
Yeah, back to the technical issues, and I'll leave you back in with Woodscope and Eddie.
Thank you very much indeed. Moulin is in pole, Tom alongside him as everyone comes on the grid, Orbit third. Everyone lining up on the grid now. Silver Surfer, final man in on the grid. We are ready. 3, 4, 5, and there a go at the SynergyPWR Monaco F1 GP. Bit of a slow start there. I don't know if the driver saw the start or not. So we're coming up to turn 1. Oh, and yes, Tom is pushing already. He's got into the barrier. Tom was pushing against Moulin, goes into the barrier, comes off losing, but manages to stay in third place. But Orbit Nations, as we were saying, takes full advantage there, sees the opening and takes the place. So Orbit Nations in the Ferrari moves into second. Hypernova in the Sauber is in fourth. CG Swift is 5. Tom 123 has dropped down to 6. NW Knoll, obviously his teammate took advantage there, moved up to third place. Oh, and collisions into the Grand Hotel hairpin there. Not too sure how much damage is there, but I think Lucas certainly is likely to have damage. See as they're coming out the tunnel. No, looking good. Moulin is in first place. He's got Orbit Nations 8/10 off the back of him. He's dropping down now as they're coming through the swimming pool section and round Raskas. DG Swift down in 5, his teammate. Tom definitely came off worse for wear on that one. He was trying to take that line, cut Moulin off into turn 1, and it just didn't work out, did it, Adrian?
No, not at all. No, 2 into 1 doesn't go, does it? I mean, it's a very narrow track, for a narrow track anyway. I think James is going to shed some more light on it.
Yeah, a bit interesting news coming in here. Obviously, doing a cracking job was Moulin to try and withhold the position. A lot of people in the comments, including Purple Haze, commenting that Tom perhaps should have backed off into turn 1. My rule of thumb is if you've got the inside line, you can dictate where the car can go. And quite honestly, Moulin had the inside line, so I feel I'm in agreement with that one. But we'll see if he does decide to send it to the stewards, if that's of the same opinion. But interesting lap 1.
I don't know, I have to disagree. I think it was a racing situation. I mean, ultimately, at the end of the day, Tom saw the opportunity, and certainly if he didn't have the speed, he wouldn't have been alongside Moulin. And it was just one of those situations, I think, ultimately, at the end of the day, where, say, Tom was right alongside of him. They were neck and neck, but Moulin had the advantage, and as such was able to close the door at him. But ultimately, where can you close to? There's nowhere to close to, so Tom only had the option of going into the barrier. Yes, he could have backed up. I think in that situation, it was too late. And F1 Ben for Force India has DNF'd.
I think he's done it at the swimming pool, perhaps. Yellow flags all around that section.
So let's go with our driver here. Relentless. Just seeing where he was in the field. We're hearing that Tom 123. Yeah, he's got severe wing damage, and you can see another bit of the carbon fibre coming off there as he was breaking into the Hilton. Sorry, not the Hilton, the Grand Hotel. I'm just thinking of Grand Hotels there. I was going to say Trump Towers, but I thought of against it. And you can see a lot of debris there on the Nouveau chicane, so that undoubtedly was where F1 Ben went out. This really hasn't gone Tom's way so far.
Well,
Swift
we're
now
only
alongside. Look at this into Raskas. Oh, that was, it was very, very brave, I'll say that.
Word.
Again, I think, you know, he saw the opportunity there, didn't he?
Yeah, it's a brave move, and he pulled it off. To be fair, I mean, he's as much as he respects his driver, you know, he's taken his opportunities, isn't he? He's not afraid to back off just because he's sort of second in the championship.
Absolutely. Hash driver there, Relentless in P6 currently, and Johan sets the provisional fastest time with a 1:23.3.
Yeah, Johan making
He's
his way up.
interesting. Quickly go to Johan. He's closing in on the new driver, A11 Skills. This is what I was saying. This is where I think this, you know, this does give you an overtake opportunity in the wet. Is certainly once you come into this Mirabeau section and then the Grand Hotel hairpin, there is that potential opportunity there if you can get that line or that breaking point. Certainly going through the first Mirabeau. He is 7/10 off the back here. Let's see what they can do. We know the A11 Skills, as his tag would suggest, is a skilled driver. So equally, we know Johan is as well. PG Relentless picks up a 3-second time penalty. Look at this, the front runners here, ZG Swift. Orbit, little spin there as he's coming out of Casino. Change places there, and he's dropping down, everyone's overtaking him. Hypernova,
yeah,
ZG Swift. Fast. Relentless. Has he taken his nose out? I think he has, hasn't he?
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
he has. So
he's dropped from P2
Orbit
now
Nations.
to P6. That's...
Yep, he's going to need to pit himself. This is the thing, Adrian, it always goes back, you know, as we were discussing, there is no room for error here. And if you make that error, you're going to suffer. We saw Tom obviously suffer, certainly in turn 1. Orbit has just suffered as well now. We've seen F1 Ben suffer as well. I mean, this is, you know, it really does make such a difference.
Yeah, I mean, look at the big winners and losers. We've got Tom and Orbit, both losing 4 positions. Ooh, Swift looked like he was coming in the pit then.
So there we have it. 2 places, Relentless 3, Hypernova 2, NW
Lucas is
2.
retired. Both Force Indias out now.
So both the Force Indias are out now. Tom looking good here. He's managed to get himself back up to 5th, but he's still got 33 laps to go. He's dropped down 3 from obviously 2nd place, as we know. Now we're getting into a more settled period of time, really, aren't we, Adrian? Everyone's sort of settled down. We're on lap 6. The interval's looking good. Now, this is where tyre change. Obviously, we're going to expect them to go quite deep, certainly on these inters. We know that the track is going to dry up. I mean, are we going to see the guys stay on these inters, do you think, until they start to see the track looking to dry?
Yeah, possibly. I mean, you've got two options, haven't you? You can either, bearing in mind that the track will potentially dry up later in the race, you can either pit fairly early and hope that the track dries up by the end of the life of those set of tyres, or you can try and hold on with this set of tyres until the track dries up, effectively only doing a 1 stop rather than a 2. My personal preference would probably be to pit earlier on. So I'm a big fan of making pit stops, as I'm sure a few of you saw last night.
you seem to have a love affair going on with your pit crew, I'm afraid, Adrian.
Oh yeah, I couldn't get enough of them, could I? Saw them 5 times in that race. Just lift their little faces.
Well, it's not unusual, to be fair. It's certainly at Monaco. I mean, we're watching Hypernova now. He's done well. He's going to a couple of places there for the Sauber team, so he's staying in the fight.
You know what? You know, we haven't really talked about Hypernova. I was going to in quali. He actually qualified 5th, which is his best ever so far. His previous best, I think, was P8 from memory. I haven't actually got my sheet next to me. Yeah, it's P8. And he's looking like he's on for possibly, if he holds it together, his first podium. I mean, he sits 3rd in the championship at the moment, but he's never actually finished 3rd in a race.
Well, no, but he's been so consistent, though, hasn't he, so far this season?
Yeah, 2 4th places and 2 5th places, I think.
It goes to show what that consistency can bring, because ultimately it's, you know, put him well up, certainly within the championship, as you quite rightly said. I mean, he's 3rd in the championship. He's not a million miles away from the leaders. He's on 44 points. Tom's on 60. Johann's on 73. But that consistency has paid off for him.
And of course, it is mathematically possible to win a championship without ever winning a race. That is indeed possible.
Well, Hypernova solidly there. He's going to be happy, certainly, with that 3rd place. Relentless in the Haas. He is bearing down on him now. Just heard he does have 6 seconds worth of penalties, and indeed penalties, as always, to come into play. You'd think that it'd be very difficult to go offline here, but it isn't, is it, Adrian? Because some of those corners there, he's really very, very fine indeed. I mean, you go over that rumble strip and you're off the track.
My God, it is so unforgiving at Monaco. It's not a track I enjoy racing. I absolutely love watching it and love commentating on it, but being part of it, no, that's not really for me.
And the other thing to say is, the pit exit, it's a tricky one, isn't it? Because I think it's probably the narrowest pit lane or pit exit that you've got. You've got to stay, obviously, within the line, but that line actually takes you round the first corner as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's right. It's the narrowest, it's the shortest, and it's the tightest corner of a pit exit on the calendar, and the slowest indeed. Yeah, we actually had a retirement last night into the pit entry. I mean, better know. I think he had wind damage as he come in, and yeah, just misjudged the corner. Oh, and Cedric Relentless has just spun it in the swim.
He has, in the Nouveau Chicane.
Yeah, I was just riding with him.
Yeah, Relentless
Cedric
has
Swift
spun
now
it.
up to 5th.
CG Swift has taken... Oh, no, he hasn't.
No damage to Relentless's car,
CG Swift took that place. He just spun it coming into Nouveau Chicane there. And he
3-second
just picked
penalty.
up 3-second time penalty for cutting the corners there through the swimming pool complex. We saw that. He comes around Raskas, and this is what we're saying. There is very little opportunity to overtake on track, but there is every opportunity to overtake when people make an error.
Yeah, that's quite right. Yeah, and what ZG Relentless has got to do now is try and get this curse thing out of his head, because no doubt that is exactly what he's thinking of, being the way that he is. He just needs to focus, concentrate, and just get on with what he's got to do.
Indeed. In Orbit Nations, he's picked up another 3-second time penalty there for cutting the corner. He must be seething right now, Orbit. I mean, you can see that there's definite anger as he's coming round the track here. He's just, you know, what happened?
I feel for him. I do. I really do. Yeah, it's not nice when you're on for a podium. P2 he was at the time, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I know he was about 10 seconds behind Mulan, but yeah, could have easily had that. It's just so unforgiving. Sorry, Eddie, we've just got a couple of comments coming through on the stream. A couple of questions actually. Synergy F1 Carrot, Mini Carrot from Division 2, is asking me how many barriers I hit yesterday. I was counting. It was 13.
But did your car stay intact, Adrian? That's the question.
It did. So I'm just looking at A11 skills. He's actually parked sideways. I think he's had a spin on the exit of the swimming pool chicane.
We're just getting to James. James, you got some news for us?
Yeah, I just want to back up some points here actually about, it was a bit of a close call there between Skills and Silver there. You're backing up the questions that are coming in. Obviously our SynergyPWR commentator in the chat has left some other questions as well, including Purple Haze, who asks a question related to this race specifically. What lap do you think they will be switching to the dry tyre? So there is a possibility of light rain towards the end. Especially around a track such as this, it will dry up fairly quickly. So the question probably to Adrian here, as a race with Division 2, when do you think they'll come in to change onto dries if it's coming towards the end?
I think the latest they'd want to do it, if they're going to do the one stop, you can probably make the intermediates last until around lap 30, 31, 32. They'd hope that it would be dry by that point. I wouldn't want to go any more laps than that. On one set of inters, but for the drivers that have already come in, they've kind of got a slight advantage because they can make those tyres last a little bit longer and wait for the dry weather.
Saying, talking to you as well, Adrian. Here we've got a comment coming in from Sphere Cookie, your teammate in Toro Rosso Honda at Division 2, asking how did you enjoy the time that you spent in the pits yesterday?
You know what, I loved it. They made me a nice cup of tea, a sandwich every time I come in, and yeah, no, it's good to be around them.
And another comment as well, actually coming in from Carrot as well, Mini Carrot in Synergy Division 2 at Team Sauber, who asks the question: who do you think will win the Division 1 Championship based on these early results? Who do you think is in real contention to win the World Championship in Division 1?
To win the championship?
Jeez.
I'm going to say Johan. I think he's the most consistent of all the drivers. I mean, he's finished a podium every race. It's not looking like he's on for a podium in this race, but it's not over, and you know, there's the cars in front of him are only a matter of just a few seconds ahead, and as we've seen, people can lose it just in the blink of an eye. So I don't think Johan will be one of those drivers. I've probably jinxed him now. Your favourite?
Oh, I knew you were going to ask me that question, and I've been rumbling through my head already. Personally, I think it's far too early to call it because anything can happen, and we've got some very fast tracks coming up. That said, I'm still, oh God, I don't know what it is. I think I'm developing a bit of a soft spot for Williams here. So I feel if I had to choose between them, I think Tom is still looking good. I think Tom's looking solid for the potential for winning the championship, personally. But there's a lot of races to go. Anything can happen, and it normally does. So I don't know. But Tom, if you pushing me, I'll say Tom. So we're on. Mulan is maintaining that lead, and going back to those questions from the wood there, obviously still seeing the rain come down, but once the track starts to dry up, and if we see this track or the rain stopping within the next 4 or 5 laps. That would take us below the 20. Track, I think, would dry out quite quickly with the cars obviously on the racing line.
Oh,
Relentless
Relentless
has
is
gone out. Relentless is out.
Still with him.
Is.
Oh dear.
Just watch. We're riding on board with Johan and Relentless. Yeah, it was just through the swimming pool complex. Relentless into the barriers right opposite the swimming pool there, where I thought it could possibly be. So Relentless is out, the curse is on. CG Relentless, all I can say to you is, my friend, invest the money, change your tag again, and just go for, I don't know, CG Jinx, GG, you know, sorry, not CG Jinx, but, you know, whatever it might be, CG, what do you think, Adrian? Cursed?
Yeah, it's got to be CG cursed. Got to be.
I think it has. CG cursed,
you know,
so...
That might lift the curse.
I guarantee you it would. I guarantee you would, and then we'd be looking at CG cursed to win the championship.
Who knows?
Well, Mulan is certainly maintaining that lead and doing very well there. 12 seconds is now the lead he's got over NW Null. Williams obviously staying in the fight with NW Null. Tom has managed to claw himself back up into the points and 4th place. He's 3.3 seconds down the road from Hypernova. Hypernova, though, maintaining that P3 at this moment in time.
Hypernova has actually matched NW Null's laps for the last 3 consecutive laps. Tom pits in. Tom's come into the pit.
So Tom is in the pits.
It's fairly
going to
early,
go on to another set of intermediates. And he's stuck in the pits there. Oh dear. No, he's out. Thank God. Oh, I suddenly thought pit glitch coming on, but no, he's out.
I mean, that's a good call from Tom. And yeah, he will be racing with Johan, as the director's just pointed out. Just 6 seconds behind him on nice fresh tyres. We should see most of the drivers pitting in around the halfway point of this race under sort of natural conditions, if you like.
Where? And another thing that comes into play here, obviously, is the progress through is the back markers, isn't it?
Yeah, that can be a factor. So A11 Skills has actually gone fastest from P9. Managed to double his points tally with Relentless's DNF.
And Mulan is just pulling out that lead. 13 seconds, over 13 and a half seconds now to NW Null. NW Null has managed to stretch it out now between Hypernova as well. Swift is slowly catching up on Hypernova. He's probably going to catch up with him in about another 5 laps, I would have thought, or 6 maybe, but it's not too far to go. If Hypernova makes one little mistake, he'll soon be on the back of his gearbox. Skills is closing down, as I was talking about CG closing on Hypernova, but Skills is really closing down now on Silver Surfer. The second Sauber, as they come through Anthony Noakes now onto the start-finish straight. Clearly have DRS on the next. I mean, is it possible that we could see 11 Skills jump ahead of the Surfer?
We could well do it. We could well see that. I hope not. Big fan of Silver Surfer, of course, but yeah, it's looking likely.
It's certainly looking that way at this moment in time. Putting the pressure on as they're coming through the Mirabeau section into the Grand Hairpin.
Silver Surfer's just
yes,
gone wide at the
place, and this is what I was saying, Adrian, earlier on. This is what I was saying earlier on with regards to this, is if somebody makes a mistake through that section, it is actually dead easy to just overtake them.
Yeah, blue flags now for Silver Surfer. So let's move on past.
Moulan coming out of the tunnel now into the Nouveau chicane. He's just lapped Surfer. He's now a lap down, and ZG Swift, as we were saying, he's closing in. He's got 7/10 now on Hypernova. Probably going to close him a little bit quicker than I was expecting there, Adrian.
Yeah, perhaps just a bit. Interestingly as well, Hypernova, although he sits in third at the moment, which would be his best ever finish, with the live points, he actually drops the place to null, drops down into fourth place if they finish as they are at the moment.
That's due to penalties, obviously, yeah?
No, just with the current points added to their totals, it will put him in fourth overall in the championship.
Yeah. ZG Swift is progressively closing down, maintaining at the moment around about 8/10. Moulan is just storming ahead, 16 seconds now to second place in W Knoll. As I was saying earlier, I mean, once the rain stops and the track starts to dry up, what are we going to see these guys go on to? I mean, would they want a harder compound like a Super Soft?
Yep, could do. I think James has got a few more words for us. James.
Yeah, we're coming through obviously to the halfway point here at the Monaco Grand Prix. Questions still coming in with the hashtag Ask Eddie or hashtag Ask Adrian. Question again coming in from Synergy F1 Carrot. It's obviously Mini Carrot from Sauber in Division 2, asking from your perspective, from a commentator's perspective, what do you feel has been the most enjoyable Division 1 race so far, Australia to currently Monaco?
I'll let you answer that first, Eddie. Oh no, I've got an answer. I know, hands down, which was the most enjoyable race.
Go on then. You've got the answer, have you?
That was the last race at Spain last week. I think
well, I was going to say exactly the same, actually.
And with that qualifying session as well.
Yeah, it was an awesome race, and Hypernova is feeling the pressure. It's going wide just before coming into the casino there.
It's the tyres as well, isn't it? They're coming to the end of their life.
Well, yeah, he's done 18 laps of them, but at the end of the day, they're both on the same one. I mean, ZG Swift on 18 old tyres, old tyre. Oh, I can never say this right. 18 old lapped tyres.
Not quite, 18 lap old.
That's the one I was looking for. I was dyslexic, but I didn't want to say it. It really is so tight here between these guys. As I say, it just takes one little mistake, and we saw Hypernova did crack a little bit going into Sino second. He's in the pits.
He's pitted in.
Yep.
Yeah, he's in the pit.
So he's pitted in. Releases ZG Swift obviously now into third.
Nolan as well.
Second place.
And
Knowles in the pits as well. As is Moulan. So
Moulan's
actually,
just coming out now. There you go.
We are going to see Moulan just nip out ahead of ZG Swift here on the track. So the gap had opened up sufficiently. Johan in the Haas in third place. Tom just set the fastest time so far in the race. So Tom is now ahead of his teammate NW Knoll. This little section here of it has certainly mixed things up. The question really is, how much deeper can ZG go? Those intermediates, and indeed Johan as well. Because that rain looks like it's still maintaining its level.
Yeah, I mean, if he pits now, he'll come out, he'd hope to come out P5, it might be P6. Yeah, I don't know if he'll want to try and do a couple more laps. Although they'll probably be losing grip even faster and being slapped behind Mulan. No, he's deciding to stay out. Okay, that's interesting.
He's deciding to stay out, and I think he's hoping that the track's going to start to dry up a little, and he'll have advantage when he goes onto those dry tyres.
That's a big gamble if that doesn't come off, i.e. it doesn't dry up quick enough, or he pits just before it starts to dry up. There's sort of a number of things that could go wrong here. It's probably best to stay safe and come in now.
Well, ultimately, at the end of the day, I mean, he could go to 30 laps on those intermediates. I mean, it is certainly possible.
Yeah, definitely. Don't know if you want to. It won't be nice, but it's definitely possible.
Well, it is certainly possible, and I don't know. I've got the sneaking suspicion that that's what he's looking to do, because that's the only way, really, he's going to get the jump on Mulan, and indeed on the rest of the field. And if he can do it, I mean, it would certainly give him a major advantage, and maybe that's what Johan's looking at as well.
Yeah, possibly. I think ZG Swift's main competitor in this race is actually Tom. I think he's planning purely to beat Tom, just because of where he was prior to Mulan putting in. There we go, and he's pitted in. And then, yeah,
pitted in.
James just said, yes, Tom is on much newer tyres than Johan.
Indeed, he is, and he is really laying the pressure here on Johan as they're coming into the start-finish straight. Obviously, no DRS with the wet conditions, but it's close.
Johan must be absolutely just desperate for this track to dry up right now. His tyres are 20 laps old. Ideally, he'd want to come in onto the slick tyres, whichever ones he chooses.
Well, that rain is not abating, and Johan, at the moment, is all over the back.
And Johan might be doing it.
Tom's all over the back of Johan, sorry. So they're coming into the Grand Hotel. You can see in the background there his teammate NW Null closing up, as is Hypernova in the Sauber as well.
Hypernova's still staying with Null. He's been a second behind him for a long time now.
I was about to say, he has. He's doing well. He's in 5th place. Obviously, he did pit, but he's doing well. Ooh, and Johan's starting to look a little bit slippery there. Tom closing up now.
Out.
Tom is just, you know, why couldn't it be dry? Why couldn't I have DRS? I think Johan is definitely looking, try and get the advantage on there, and Tom trying to get a little look through Mirabeau there. He's so close round Casino now. Now into Mirabeau. We saw this earlier. We saw that mistake being made on the Grand Hotel turn. Johan maintaining his position here. 21 laps on these intermediates, and you can see on certain exits, and certainly through the simples there, if we're watching through the simples section, that back end starting to lose the grip, and it's the rear tyres here suffer. Tom is relentless there behind him, 5/10. You've got to be so aware of that car in front of you, haven't you, Adrian? Because the slightest little mistake, yes, you can take advantage, but equally you could just go piling into the back of them. Yeah,
indeed. It's just tricky getting the balance between playing it safe and being competitive. Silver Surfer comes in for his pit stop.
I think Do you know what? I'm looking at this and I'm watching Tom as they're coming out of turn 1 into the Mirabeau section. I think Tom's watching the line. He's looking to take Johan if he can on that Mirabeau section if he doesn't before. Oh, yes, and he forces a little mistake there from Johan as they're coming into Mirabeau Halt. Round the Grand Hotel now. Oh, so close, Johan, nearly into the wall. Gets the barrier.
I think, Eddie, what the little sun dance that Johan must have been doing in that car, I think it's working because the rain has stopped. The track is drying up.
Oh my goodness, indeed it has. This track will dry very, very quickly indeed.
Gonna have a word
with James.
It's drying up, isn't it? Yeah, it's just seen it now. It's drying up now, and I'm thinking here, Johan has made a really good call. He's up 22 laps on his intermediates. He might be coming on now for a set, possibly of hyper softs. They might be able to last, if not ultra softs. I think the rest of the field may be able to take a risk, go on the inters a little bit longer, and here comes Johan.
Johan's into the pits.
I wonder if that's a lap too early.
I don't know. We will see.
It does dry up quick. It certainly does.
What's he going on
and
to
the
now?
hypers.
Let's look.
The hypers.
Yes, indeed. Ultras. Oh, it is hypers. Sorry, I thought it was ultras going on myself, but it is the hypers.
New pink tyre.
DG Swift is in.
God, this could shake things up. Swift just spun out on the exit.
Straight out of there now. It's going the wrong way. He is going to be disqualified. Undoubtedly. He manages to stay in here. He's going to be lucky. I think he was actually in the pit lane when he was going backwards, so maybe that might have saved him. Oh my goodness. Well, Johan now in 6th place.
Cool, he's got no front end grip at all, has he?
Yes, but then again, he can build it up once he's actually on track. He's got track presence here. He can afford to just let people. Oh, and
he's lost part of his wing.
There at Potier.
It was early.
Front wing damage. Front wing damage there for Johan. He's going to have to come into the pits now anyway.
So desperate to get off of the old winters.
Let's cut to James.
Yeah, a bit of a weird one, isn't it? I was saying the potential opportunity for the tyres to, for the drivers to come onto the dry tyres, but I'm thinking about it now. The track's obviously quite cold, and the intermediate's nice and warm. They'll do the job for another few laps, so maybe Johan's opportunity has slipped away from him. He should have stayed on those intermediates a little bit longer. Question is, we've got other people coming in. Noel's come in. He's on a set of Ultra Softs. Orbit Nation's coming in. He'll probably go into a set of Ultras as well. No, Supers for the...
back in.
It's just
Super softs, I think, is the call here.
It's perplexing because I think it's a bit early for the dry tyres still.
I think super softs is the way to go, and I think Orbit has just called it spot on. I think Orbit has called it right with those super softs because the harder compound tyre is gonna be better in these conditions, and it will see him through to the end of this race. And I think Orbit has just made the pit that will win him this race.
Oh, contact. Up the hill.
Contact through Mirabeau there. Sorry.
Wow.
Contact there round Mirabeau with Johan and ZG Swift.
Wow.
Johan just coming out of the pits. So what have we got here? We've got Moulin in the race lead, still on those intermediates. Tom is on those ultra softs. He's coming into the pits. No, he's out of the pits. He's on the ultra softs. Hypernova in 3rd place now, just coming out of the pits on the ultra softs. James.
Yeah, just making quick note here. Tom 123 for the win on now a set of Ultra Softs, I believe that is, and Moulin on a set of intermediates still. Worth making note, the dry tyres are definitely the tyres the way forward now because in all of that action about people getting penalties, DRS has been enabled, so it is definitely time for dry tyres.
Well, clearly you can see on the track as well, it has dried up. in a major way.
Moulin's in.
Moulin's into the pits now.
Oh, we
Tom
backed
is
up by
just coming
his
through
teammate.
Nouvelle Chicane now.
Yeah,
What?
Swift
So
Swift's
well,
coming
he's
as
stuck
well,
behind
a lap
Swift.
behind.
He's stuck behind Swift, so that means the tyres are going to have to go on. He's going to be late. They weren't ready for his tyres. It's a Danny Ricciardo. Will Tom be able to get out there and close that gap? It might be a battle to the finish.
It's going to be close.
Well, Tom Com's
close.
just coming
This is
around
going to be
Rascasse
really
now.
close.
Tom through Anthony Noakes now. Moulin coming out. Tom approach and overtakes him. Tom,
That's Tom's done it.
place. Tom takes the place. Takes
And Moulin's
first
got a 5
place
second
from
stop go
Moulin.
corner cutting as well to boot. Dear mix up at the Mercedes garage, I feel.
Well, they were double stacking, clearly, and I think Moulin may not necessarily have been aware that his teammate was actually already in, or there was some miscommunication there between the team. Obviously, ZG Swift, he was already in. This now has opened up this race because it's given Tom the opportunity. He's coming down to the Nouvelle Chicane, and Tom must be smiling ear to ear. He wasn't expecting that. He was pushing. He knew that obviously Moulin had come into pits, and Moulin would have had enough time if they hadn't double stacked and ZG Swift was ahead of him to actually just beaten Tom out and maintain that first place.
The tyres weren't ready, Eddie. I'm sorry just to step in here. I just wanted to make note. The tyres were simply not ready. It's a Danny Ricciardo back in 2015, 16, can't remember off the top of my head. But Danny Ricciardo moment for Moulin has pushed him into P2. Absolutely unbelievable.
Oh, there you have it.
Oh, I'm actually
certainly
saying
not going to look a gift horse in the mouth.
Hypernova's got past Noel. He's done an undercut on him. Noel's tyres are 3 laps old, Hyper's are 2 laps.
Hyper did indeed do the undercut on Noel. Now he's really pressurising Moulin. Both on the ultra softs.
I apologise, I keep stepping in, guys. I just want to keep making note here. Moulin also, in the effort of leaving the pits to try and beat Tom out of the pits after that mix-up at the Mercedes garage, he's received a 5-second penalty for crossing the white line at the exit of the pit exit. So he receives now a 5-second penalty on top. If Hypernova can keep his car on the track without escaping the track boundaries, Moulin could be down to P3.
James saying there, we are looking at potentially Moulin dropping a place, going down to 3rd because of the time penalty that he's incurred on the exit out of the pits, trying to beat Tom.
Oh wow! I've just made note. I've just made note here of NW Noel, how close he is as well. If worse comes to worse, he could be down even to P4.
Well, indeed,
Yeah,
NW Noel at the moment. 3.3 seconds.
Penalty.
No, he doesn't
Hyper
have a
does.
penalty.
No, Noel doesn't,
Hyper
does.
Okay, so potentially what we're looking at here is that NW Noel could actually move up into 2nd place in this race, as he hasn't incurred any penalties. This is very, very interesting indeed. It's fantastic news for the Williams team. They're currently heading up the Constructors' Championship as it is anyway, but this is just going to majorly play into their hands, and indeed into the championship itself.
And he's in.
Moulin
He's
is-
put it in. Moulin's in the pits.
Moulin's in the pits.
Going for the
Retired.
Moulin.
Moulin
don't
has
need to do
retired
that.
from the race.
Stepping in again, sorry, yeah, it looks like he's retired in the pits. He clearly has had enough. He's been caught in the pits. He ended up losing time there. I think he got front wing damage as well on the exit. Perhaps, not too sure, but and he's down and decided to retire, and I think it was a really bad call because I think he had a real opportunity to at least take some points for him and Team Mercedes, at least 10 points, maybe even 12 at the very, very minimum. So I think it's a really bad call to just rage quit and leave the session. I think that's a really bad call.
Well, I can understand where you're coming from there, James. It's a shame to see such a quality driver just throw a hissy fit there, but it happens. And unfortunately,
P3, it's nothing to
becoming worse off.
you know,
But as you know, as I say, Williams here, Tom and NW Noel, they must be absolutely rubbing their hands right now because this is going to help them so much. Obviously, it's going to effectively qualify their lead in the Constructors' Championship, but equally, you know, Johan is at this moment down in 5th place. He's only 13 points ahead of Tom, and Tom is going to overtake him.
Yeah, I'm just working out the live points now. It's going to completely shake it up.
It is. It is completely.
What it was about.
I think Hypernova will maintain 3rd.
Yes.
NW Noel will. Oh, I don't know. Actually, I think NW Noel will be again just behind Hypernova.
And you know, it's a valiant drive from both Hyper and Orbit Nations as well. And indeed, A11 skills in P7 down there in the Toro Rosso in his debut. He's still in one piece. The track's drying up. He's got, what, 7 laps to go?
Well, this is definitely going to be. He's on the ultra soft, certainly go through to the end of the race. I've got to say, I'm a little bit disappointed with Orbit Nations there because I think he had a great opportunity. It just hasn't seemed to play out for the Ferrari driver there.
No, he's slightly unlucky, you could say. Yeah, it just hasn't worked out for him, has it? But it's a good recovery to come back to 4th, there's no denying that.
Oh, absolutely, and let's just quickly, while we're here, have a look at the position changes.
While you're doing that, actually, I'm just going to respond to some of the comments coming from the hashtags Ask Eddie, Ask Adrian on the stream. VSR Tyrant is asking for who we think has done the best overtake of the race so far. And my answer to that would probably be ZG Relentless on Tom in the early stage of this race. I think that was
at the Grand Hotel hairpin, wasn't it?
I thought it was Rascas. I have to rewatch the stream.
Oh, sorry, yeah, no, you're right, it was, sorry, I do apologise, yeah, it was indeed Rascas. That was an amazing, again, he just could see that gap and he took it, and it was a wonderful move. I mean, that's probably one of the corners where you would least expect an overtake to be done. It was a great move, Adrian.
It was great, yeah, I enjoyed that one.
NW Noel closing in. Hypernova.
I don't know what it's looking like on the stream, but in my view, I'm seeing Hypernova on a set of intermediates, even though the graphic is saying that he's on ultra softs.
Yep, he is on those, but it's just a little our usual friendly tyre glitch.
Oh, big lock up from Noel into the swimming pool. Well, they'll be vibrating like anything now.
Yep.
No drivers on Hypersofts, it looks like. All opted for the Ultras, with the exception of Orbit on Supersoft.
Orbit just not able to close down that gap of 19 seconds at this moment in time. Fortunate. I think he just got caught up in all the chaos that was happening. Remaining Mercedes driver. Come down into Nouvelle Chicane. Nice and tight in behind the Mercedes there. And a deep breath of the exhaust fumes. Do you think A11 Skills is just looking for that, repeat that Raskas overtake there?
Oh,
Oh,
that was,
when he
I was just going to say it was
nudges.
contact. Just
Yeah,
starting,
nudges
flying into
CG
Raskas.
Swift there.
I was about to say he's waiting for Swift to make a mistake.
Well, yeah. It looked like he wanted to try and push him into making a mistake there. So, fair play. As soon as he noted that, he immediately backed off. CG Swift is, I'm sure, more than aware that he's got that Toro Rosso breathing down his neck. I'm sure that the hairs on the back of his neck are standing on end.
So
But look at this. Silver, is that Silver Surfer?
that was
Pushing.
Silver Surfer.
Gills is disconnected. Oh, not too sure what's happening there.
I think Silver
He
Surfer's
has
a lap down.
indeed. Silver Surfer was a lap down, but he actually just sort of pushed. I think he saw
just-
that he'd gone offline and then just went through him. So
Oh,
Tom,
on Hyper. Another lock-up, same place.
watching now on that aerial view, lovely shot through swimming pool complex here. A true idea of the speed they're actually going through there as they come into Raskas. And Noel is really locking up those tyres. It's not going to fare well. He's got 2 laps to go, but he's not doing himself any favours. Oh, and he goes, oh, dearie me, sorry. I just suddenly realised what happened there. As they go through skills. I thought he was going in the back of Hyper and over for a second there. So, whilst I recover from a mild heart attack and dial 999, NW Noel is nudging the back of Hypernova here, but Hyper's not giving in. Fair play, he's not giving in, is he?
No, he's not. No, absolutely not. He's going to be going out to the end.
Oh, and he's trying to make a move into Nouveau Chicane.
Oh,
My goodness, that is brave. Can he do it into Tabac? No, decides back off.
these two drivers had a number of close battles in the races so far this season. It's shaping up to be another one.
Well, he's now going to have the opportunity of the DRS. Can he do anything into turn 1? We got yellow. Green now as they come into turn 1, and I think Noel just had to back off a little because he saw that yellow light just as it was on the start-finish straight. He is not backing off now through Mirabeau. Round to Casino now.
A11 skills has just done a 103. I'm pretty sure that's a glitch.
Oh, and he's pushing so hard, but Hypernova is just not giving him any opportunity at all. He's trying to go left and right of Hyper, but he's just closing the door down and on every single time. They need to get around this back marker now through the tunnel. This is going to be interesting because Silver Surfer, where can he go? He can't go anywhere. Oh, and he's gone out. He's gone. They hit the lights as they come through Nouveau Chicane, but Hyper maintains that
Just desperation.
gap ahead.
Pure desperation, that.
Good goodness. Golly Miss Molly, that's all I can say on that one. Coming round Raskas now, and Noel just is not giving up. He wants a 1-2 for this Williams team, doesn't he?
Yeah, he wants it, doesn't he? He certainly does. He might have it into turn 1.
No, can't meet it, but this is where he likes Mirabeau. So they're coming round Massenet now. Closing in the Casino.
Well, obviously,
Oh, and he's got the inside line. Can he make it stick? Into Mirabeau. No, backs off again. He can't do it. What about this Grand Hotel hairpin? Can he get that inside track? Can he get it on the inside? No. all locks up. Round Potier now into the tunnel.
So G Swift just lost it at the swimming pool. Tom on the last sector of the race now.
He's on the final run now, and Tom will be a very happy bunny in a very few seconds' time as he comes across the line. And Tom, 1, 2, 3, takes the win. Hypernova coming round Raskas now. He will be taking second place. Oh no, sorry. As we said,
Noel.
NW Noel takes second place, indeed. What about Orbit? Comes round the Ferrari, the lone Ferrari here at Monaco. Valuable points, nonetheless. He comes across the line. Johan Verhaas, our championship leader, down in 5th place. Not what he hoped for. Still, he's in the hunt, but he has lost that championship lead now. Tom, 1, 2, 3, now heads the championship. Johan is in 2nd place. I'm pretty sure Hypernova maintains 3rd, and NW Noel is 4th. I don't know how your additions went earlier on, Adrian, but I think that's round about right, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I'm just totting up the points now. So while they celebrate.
So there we have our race winner. Fantastic result there for Williams. Tom, 1, 2, 3, takes the win. NW Noel takes 2nd place due to the penalties that our Sauber driver, who took 3rd place. And whew, that was certainly something, wasn't it? I mean, Hypernova missing out there, unfortunately.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Good points picked there, and look at that best lap there, 1:11. But if we look a little bit further down, I just want to check that 8:11 skills. Yeah, he did set a 1:03.8.
Yeah, no, he didn't.
I don't think that's possible.
No,
I really don't. I tend to agree with you on that one. How could he knock 6 seconds out? No way. Not unless he was flying.
Tom now leading the championship by 2 points.
2 points. My goodness. So close. Well, Adrian, I hate to tell you this, but that £5 bet we had earlier.
Or I said Mulan and you said Tom.
Indeed. I may have grey hairs, but I've got a very good memory. So I believe we're going to come to a close now, looking at this. So thank you everybody for watching. We hope you have enjoyed it as much as we have, and we look forward to seeing you next week. And next week we are
week after
on the other side, the other continent. Week after, sorry. Next week we're not racing. It will be the week after next, and we will be in North America for the Canadian Grand Prix. Indeed. Look forward to joining us. Thank you very much for joining us here on SynergyPWR. Don't forget, we are not racing next week, but the following week, Division 2, Tuesday night, 7 o'clock. Division 1, Wednesday night, 7 o'clock. We hope you've enjoyed it as much as we have. We look forward to seeing you next week, and goodbye.